In Lincoln, Nebraska, the Red-White Spring Game was a cornerstone of Cornhusker culture, a vibrant April tradition that filled Memorial Stadium with life for 75 years. Since April 15, 1950, this inter-squad scrimmage capped spring practice, offering fans a glimpse of the Nebraska Cornhuskers' upcoming season, new talent, daring plays, and dreams of fall triumphs. For players, it was a proving ground, where freshmen like Dylan Raiola or legends like Eric Crouch etched their names into Husker lore, building bonds that resonated through autumn battles across Nebraska's fields. The game was a stage for grit, where every snap showcased potential, from quarterbacks threading tight passes to linemen anchoring the trenches, igniting hope for September showdowns against rivals like Oklahoma or Iowa. It was Nebraska's springtime pulse, a moment when Lincoln became the epicenter of Cornhusker pride, uniting a state in anticipation of gridiron glory. For fans, it was a pilgrimage, drawing 60,000 to 80,000 to Lincoln, their red attire painting the city like a blazing sunset, their tailgates and cheers weaving a tapestry of devotion from dawn to dusk. The game united Nebraska's heartland, farmers, families, students, into a singular spirit, a celebration echoing from Omaha to Scottsbluff, binding generations in shared passion. It was more than football, it was Nebraska's cultural heartbeat, a springtime vow of greatness where grandstands shook with chants, and every tackle sparked stories told in bars, barns, and living rooms across the state. The red-white game wasn't just practice. It was a ritual that turned strangers into kin, all clad in red, dreaming of bowl games under Lincoln's vast sky. On April 27, 2024, in Lincoln, Nebraska, the final red-white game unfolded, replaced in 2025 by the Husker Games, a shift to address transfer portal risks and injuries, leaving fans yearning for tradition's return. As we endure this pause, we celebrate its legacy by revisiting its finest moments. To rank the top 10 Red-White Spring Games, we evaluated attendance, fan engagement, competitive quality, standout performances, program momentum, historical weight, weather, media coverage, innovations, recruiting impact, and fan sentiment. These criteria capture the essence: roaring crowds, rising stars, and visions of autumn glory that define Nebraska spring. From Bob Devaney's dawn to Scott Frost's fervor, each game tells a story of Husker heart. With no spring game this year, we cherish the top 10 games that shaped Nebraska football, moments enduring in our souls, urging us to fight for their revival in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Red Sea waits to rise again. Number 10. 2001 Red-White Spring Game. Red 16, White 7, Solix, Steady Charge. On April 21, 2001, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 60,000 fans poured into Memorial Stadium under a mild spring sky, their anticipation soaring for Frank Solik's Nebraska Cornhuskers to hone their craft after a 10-2 season. Red defeated White 16-7. A gritty, disciplined clash that showcased Nebraska's resolve in Lincoln's hallowed stands, setting a focused tone for a remarkable 11-2 campaign that would carry the faithful to the BCS National Championship game in Florida. The game wasn't a high-scoring spectacle, but its steady rhythm pulsed with purpose, a testament to Solik's leadership as Nebraska aimed to reclaim Big 12 supremacy, thrilling fans who packed Lincoln with dreams of outshining Oklahoma or Texas. Running back Darn Diedrich powered through for 60 yards, his tough carries drawing cheers from a red-clad crowd that stretched across Lincoln's bleachers like a scarlet wave, while quarterback Eric Crouch, a dual-threat dynamo, scrambled for 70 yards and a touchdown, his agility electrifying Nebraska's heartland under the spring sun. Red amassed 280 total yards to White's 210, the 9-point margin reflecting a controlled effort that foreshadowed battles against Kansas State or Colorado. Fans clapped for each first down, their voices echoing over Nebraska's fields, a springtime rally in Lincoln's vibrant air, where every gain felt like a step toward a Rose Bowl showdown, uniting the faithful in shared hope. Lincoln woke to a symphony of tailgates, grills sizzling in lots from Haymarket to Stadium Drive, as families, students, and alumni gathered under Nebraska's clear sky, swapping stories of 1997's national title and Crouch's Heisman potential. Local papers like Nebraska's Lincoln Star hailed Diedrich's bruising style, their pages read in coffee shops across Lincoln, while radio broadcasts carried play-by-play to farms and small towns beyond Nebraska's borders. No national television required for the Cornhuskers devoted. The weather, a crisp 65 degrees with a gentle breeze, kept spirits soaring, with fans lingering in Lincoln's tailgate lots to debate the team's promise, their red banners waving as optimism spread through Nebraska's communities, from Norfolk to Grand Island, eager for a season of redemption. The game lacked the flash of modern fan zones, no jumbotrons or apps, but its simplicity was Lincoln's charm, with the band's halftime march igniting pride in Nebraska's traditions, a nod to decades of Husker grit. Lineman Tonio Finotti's pancake blocks anchored Red's line, hinting at Nebraska's trench strength, drawing roars from Lincoln's faithful, while depth players like Judd Davies added bursts, signaling Big 12 promise for Nebraska's coaching staff. Solik, in post-game remarks, praised the crowd's energy, noting players fed off Lincoln's roar, a foundation for fall battles. The game wasn't perfect. Penalties stalled early drives, but it showed Nebraska's balance, a quiet resolve that resonated with Lincoln's faithful. For a state craving triumphs, this was a springtime vow, Lincoln alive with purpose as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 21, 2001, in Lincoln, Nebraska, the steady charge united Nebraska's faithful, their hearts set on a season of glory, a moment when 60,000 voices stood as one for the Cornhuskers' ascent. Number 9. 2023 Red-White Spring Game. White 21, Red 7, Rules Quiet Dawn. On April 22, 2023, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 60,000 fans filled Memorial Stadium under a crisp spring sky, their anticipation electric for Matt Rule's debut as Nebraska Cornhuskers coach, a new chapter after a 4-8 season. White defeated Red 21-7, a cautious clash that prioritized discipline over dazzle, yet kindled hope in Lincoln for Nebraska's faithful, eager for a revival under a coach known for rebuilding programs from Texas to North Carolina. The game wasn't a spectacle, but its steady pulse resonated, a quiet promise of better days for the Cornhuskers, as Lincoln buzzed with dreams of climbing the Big Ten ranks against foes like Iowa or Wisconsin. Running back Gabe Urban Jr. powered through for 60 yards, his tough carries thrilling a red-clad crowd that stretched across Lincoln stands with scarlet fervor, while quarterback Jeff Sims showcased mobility, scrambling for 50 yards and completing 12 of 18 passes for 110 yards in Nebraska's spring breeze. White amassed 230 total yards to Red's 180, the modest scoreline hiding the grit in each snap, a glimpse of Rule's vision for a resilient Nebraska squad. Fans cheered every gain, their voices carrying across Nebraska's fields, a springtime pledge of loyalty in Lincoln's vibrant air, where optimism bloomed despite recent struggles, uniting the faithful under Memorial Stadium's towering lights. Lincoln woke to sprawling tailgates, grills firing up in lots from Stadium Drive to Vine Street, as families and students gathered under Nebraska's vast horizon, swapping tales of Tom Osborne's titles and 1990s glory, their red caps dotting the landscape like beacons of hope. A halftime tribute to Frank Solik, Nebraska's 1999 Big 12 champion coach from Oklahoma, drew tears and roars, linking Rule's new chapter to the Cornhuskers' storied past, a moment broadcast by the Big Ten Network to fans beyond Nebraska's borders. Social media buzzed with Nebraska's anticipation, posts praising Rule's sideline intensity as Lincoln rallied for a turnaround, eager to reclaim relevance against Michigan or Ohio State, their chatter a testament to the state's unyielding passion. The clear, 60-degree weather kept spirits soaring, with fans lingering in Lincoln's tailgate lots to debate Sims' dual-threat potential, their optimism fueled by Nebraska's enduring football spirit. Linebacker Luke Reimer's interception sealed the day's steady vibe, a defensive nod to Rule's focus on fundamentals, resonating with Lincoln's crowd. Streamlined concessions, a subtle innovation, eased the flow for Nebraska's faithful, ensuring more time to soak in the game's rhythm. Recruits felt Memorial Stadium's energy, drawn to Nebraska's legacy, per recruiting notes from Lincoln, signaling a future bolstered by Rule's vision. The game wasn't dazzling, conservative calls limited flash, but it showed Nebraska's depth, with backups like Romer Johnson adding grit for Nebraska staff. For a state seeking pride, This was a springtime awakening. Lincoln alive with possibility as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. The 5-7 season fell short, but the day's resolve lingered, a testament to Nebraska's unbreakable spirit. As dusk settled on April 22, 2023, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood united. Rule's quiet dawn a hopeful chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a step toward restoring Husker greatness. Number 8. 1962 Red-White Spring Game. Red 33, White 21, Devaney's first stride. On April 28, 1962, in Lincoln, Nebraska, a chilly spring breeze swept through Memorial Stadium as 15,000 fans gathered for the Red-White Spring Game, their hopes pinned on Bob Devaney, a new coach from Ohio tasked with reviving the Nebraska Cornhuskers after a 4-6 season. Red defeated White 33-21, a spirited clash that ignited a spark for Nebraska's ascent in Lincoln's modest stands, thrilling the faithful with a glimpse of a program poised to climb from mediocrity to contention against Kansas or Missouri. The game wasn't a rout, but its lively pace pulsed with purpose, uniting Nebraska's heartland in dreams of bowl games under Lincoln's vast sky. Running back Willie Ross darted for 80 yards, his blazing speed electrifying a crowd wrapped in red scarves across Lincoln's bleachers, while quarterback Dennis Claridge threw for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, completing 10 of 15 passes with precision in Nebraska's crisp air. Red totaled 340 yards to White's 220, a dynamic effort foreshadowing a 9-2 season and a Gotham Bowl victory in New York from Nebraska, a testament to Devaney's bold vision. Fans cheered each play, their voices echoing over Nebraska's fields, a springtime vow of loyalty under Lincoln's gray sky, where every gain felt like a stride toward a future challenging Oklahoma's dominance, uniting the faithful in shared anticipation. Lincoln stirred with humble tailgates, families huddled in lots from Stadium Drive to downtown, sharing tales of past struggles and dreams of bowl games, their red banners bright against Nebraska's clouds. Nebraska's Lincoln Journal-Star hailed Devaney's fresh air, its pages read in diners across Lincoln, while radio broadcasts carried Claridge's throws to farms and towns beyond Nebraska. No national television needed for the Cornhuskers devoted. The dry, 55-degree weather allowed fans to linger in Lincoln stands, debating Ross's bursts, their chatter a quiet fire fueling Nebraska's optimism, spreading through barbershops and churches eager for a season to rival 1950's promise. The game lacked modern trappings, no flashing screens or apps, but its raw intensity charmed Lincoln's crowd, with the band's halftime march stirring pride in Nebraska's traditions, a nod to the state's football roots. Tackle Bob Brown's blocks anchored Red's line, hinting at Nebraska's rising physicality, drawing cheers from Lincoln's faithful as a sign of strength to come. Players, Devaney said, bought into his system, setting a tone of grit in Lincoln's air per Nebraska staff, with depth players like Rudy Johnson adding flashes, signaling promise against Iowa State. The game wasn't flawless. White's late rally exposed gaps, but it showcased Nebraska's potential, a foundation for future battles. For a state weary of losses, this was a springtime awakening. Lincoln alive with possibility as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 28, 1962, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood united. Devaney's first stride a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a moment when 15,000 voices sparked a dream of Husker greatness. Number 7. 2019 Red-White Spring Game. Red 24, White 13, Frost's fevered hope. On April 13, 2019, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 85,946 fans, nearly a record, flooded Memorial Stadium under a balmy 65-degree sky for the Red-White Spring Game, drawn by Scott Frost's vision as Nebraska's coach, a hometown hero from the 1997 championship in Arizona. Red defeated White 24-13. A spirited clash igniting revival dreams in Lincoln for Nebraska's Cornhuskers, lifting spirits after a 4-8 debut season under Frost's return to his alma mater. The game wasn't a rout, but its energy pulsed with promise, a testament to Frost's leadership as Nebraska aimed to climb the Big Ten ranks, thrilling fans who packed Lincoln with dreams of outshining Iowa or Michigan. Running back Dedrick Mills powered through for 90 yards, his bruising runs thrilling a red-clad crowd that roared like it was September in Lincoln stands, while quarterback Adrian Martinez threw for 220 yards and a touchdown, completing 18 of 25 passes with poise across Nebraska's field. Red amassed 350 total yards to White's 280. The 11-point margin fueling belief in Frost's plan to restore Nebraska's glory, a promise echoing through Lincoln's bleachers. Fans cheered each catch, their voices a springtime anthem across Nebraska's heartland, where hope for battles against Wisconsin or Ohio State bloomed under Lincoln's golden sun, uniting the faithful in shared anticipation. Lincoln burst awake with tailgates at dawn, kids tossing footballs in lots from Haymarket to Vine Street, alumni sharing tales of Tom Osborne's 1990s titles under Nebraska's clear sky, their red banners waving in the breeze. The Big Ten Network broadcast Martinez's scrambles, with ESPN lauding Lincoln's crowd, rivaling FBS games beyond Nebraska's borders, a nod to the Cornhuskers pull. Recruits felt the frenzy in Lincoln stands, committing early to Nebraska's class, per recruiting sites from Nebraska, their eyes wide at the sea of red. A halftime nod to the 1971 champions tied Frost's ambition to Nebraska's storied past, stirring nostalgia among Lincoln's faithful, who clapped for every mention of past heroes, their pride swelling for the future. Linebacker JoJo Doman's sack sent Lincoln's stands into a frenzy, a defensive spark for Nebraska's crowd, hungry for a turnaround after lean years. Fan fests with alumni meet and greets deepened the joy, with social media buzzing GBR across Nebraska. Though some fans in Lincoln's lots wished for a higher score, their chatter lively under the balmy air. The perfect weather amplified the vibe, keeping fans lingering to debate Martinez's ceiling, their optimism afire for Nebraska's fall hopes. The game showed depth, with backups like Maurice Washington adding bursts per Nebraska staff, though conservative calls tempered flash. For a state craving pride, this was a springtime celebration. Lincoln alive with possibility as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. The 5-7 season fell short, but the day's fervor lingered, uniting Nebraska's faithful. As dusk settled on April 13, 2019, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood vibrant, Frost's hope a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a step toward restoring Husker greatness. Number 6. 1980 Red-White Spring Game. Red 38, White 19, Osborne's Ascent. On April 19, 1980, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 30,000 fans filled Memorial Stadium under a brisk spring sky, their anticipation soaring for Tom Osborne's Nebraska Cornhuskers to refine their burgeoning option attack after a 10-2 season. Red routed White 38-19, a commanding victory that showcased Lincoln's rising tide, thrilling Nebraska's faithful with a glimpse of a program climbing toward elite status, ready to challenge Oklahoma or Texas in the Big Eight. The game wasn't a nail-biter, but its decisiveness pulsed with purpose, uniting the faithful in dreams of bowl games under Lincoln's gray clouds. Running back Jarvis Redwine surged for 100 yards, his dazzling cuts electrifying a red-clad crowd stretching across Lincoln's bleachers, while quarterback Jeff Quinn threw for 150 yards, completing 12 of 16 passes with calm precision in Nebraska's spring breeze. Red totaled 360 yards to White's 240, a dominant effort foreshadowing another 10-2 season and an Orange Bowl trip to Florida from Nebraska, a signal of the Cornhuskers' depth. Fans roared for each pitch, their cheers echoing over Nebraska's fields, a springtime vow of loyalty where every touchdown felt like a stride toward greatness, uniting Lincoln stands in shared hope for battles against Missouri or Kansas State. Lincoln woke to a hum of tailgates, grills smoking across Nebraska's plains from Haymarket to Antelope Park, as families and students gathered, sharing tales of 1970s title run under Bob Devaney, their red banners bright in the breeze. Regional radio carried Redwine's runs to listeners beyond Nebraska's borders, with Nebraska's Omaha World Herald spreading the buzz of Osborne's ascent, its pages read in diners and bars across Lincoln. No national television needed for the Cornhuskers devoted. The clear 60-degree weather fueled the festive air, keeping spirits high as fans lingered in Lincoln's lots to debate Quinn's arm, their chatter a testament to Nebraska's unyielding passion, from Grand Island to Kearney, eager for a season of redemption. The game lacked modern frills, no fan zones or apps, but its straightforward charm captivated Lincoln's crowd, with the band's halftime show igniting pride in Nebraska's traditions, a nod to the state's football roots. Lineman Derry Nelson's tackles hinted at a stout defensive front, drawing cheers from Lincoln stands, a glimpse of the physicality Osborne prized. Players, Osborne later said, embraced his system with discipline, setting a tone for fall clashes for Nebraska staff. The game showed balance, with depth players like Craig Johnson adding bursts, signaling Big 8 promise for Nebraska's notes, though White's early drives tested Red's focus. For a state hungry for dominance, this was a springtime awakening. Lincoln alive with certainty as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 19, 1980, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood united. Osborne's ascent a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a moment when 30,000 voices sparked a dream of Husker greatness. Number 5. 1995 Red-White Spring Game. White 40, Red 34, Dynasty's peak. On April 15, 1995, in Lincoln, Nebraska, over 50,000 fans filled Memorial Stadium under a warm 70-degree sun for the Red-White Spring Game, a dazzling showcase of Tom Osborne's Nebraska Cornhuskers at their dynasty zenith, fresh off a 1994 national championship won in Florida. White edged Red 40-34, a high-octane clash thrilling Lincoln's red-clad faithful, who packed the stands with dreams of another title against Florida or Tennessee. Their cheers a testament to Nebraska's dominance as the Cornhuskers stood atop college football. Running back Amon Green burst through for 90 yards, his explosive speed electrifying Lincoln's crowd, while quarterback Tommy Frazier scrambled for 80 yards and a touchdown, completing 10 of 14 passes for 120 yards with flair across Nebraska's field. White totaled 380 yards to Red's 360, the 6-point margin fueling roars in Lincoln stands. Every option play a spark of Nebraska's unmatched prowess, foreshadowing a perfect 12-0 season and a Fiesta Bowl rout in Arizona from Nebraska. Fans clapped for each dive, their voices echoing over Nebraska's fields, a springtime anthem where Memorial Stadium glowed as the heart of Husker Nation. Lincoln thrummed with tailgates, Nebraska's faithful waving banners, as families and students poured into lots from Vine Street to Antelope Park, sharing tales of 1994's Orange Bowl heroics, their red caps bright against the radiant sun. Nebraska's Lincoln Journal-Star lauded the offense's fire. Its pages read, "In coffee shops across Lincoln, no national television needed. Nebraska's fame burned without spotlight." The perfect weather lifted spirits, fueling joy for Lincoln's sea of red, who filled every seat with pride, debating the team's path against Colorado or Kansas State, their optimism a fire ready to blaze through the fall. A halftime tribute to the 1994 champions sent Lincoln's stands into a frenzy, linking Osborne's squad to Nebraska's storied past, a moment that stirred nostalgia among the faithful, clapping for heroes of yesteryear. Lineman Jared Tomich's sacks signaled blackshirt ferocity, thrilling Lincoln's crowd, a glimpse of the defensive might to come. The game's flashier band show, with added choreography, captivated Nebraska's fans, reflecting Lincoln's festive air. Players, Osborne said, played with swagger, their intensity a tone for battles ahead for Nebraska staff. The game wasn't flawless. Red's late rally exposed gaps, but it showed Nebraska's depth, with backups like Lawrence Phillips adding bursts, signaling a roster unstoppable for Nebraska's notes. For a state basking in glory, this was a springtime celebration. Lincoln alive with certainty as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 15, 1995, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood as football's epicenter, the dynasty's peak a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a moment when 50,000 voices united for the Cornhuskers' reign. Number 4. 1970 Red-White Spring Game. Red 23, White 3, Title Dreams Ignite. On April 25, 1970, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 20,000 fans braved a cool spring day at Memorial Stadium for the Red-White Spring Game, their hopes soaring for Bob Devaney's Nebraska Cornhuskers after a 9-2 season. Red crushed White 23-3, a gritty clash that ignited a spark for Nebraska's first national championship, thrilling Lincoln's faithful with a quiet sense of destiny. Their cheers a testament to a program poised to conquer Texas or Oklahoma in the fall. The game wasn't a spectacle, but its dominance pulsed with purpose, uniting Nebraska's heartland in dreams of glory under Lincoln's vast sky. Running back Joe Orduna powered through for 70 yards, his tough runs electrifying a red-clad crowd in Lincoln stands, while quarterback Jerry Tagg threw for 140 yards, completing 11 of 16 passes with steady command across Nebraska's field. Red totaled 300 yards to White's 160, a defensive clinic foreshadowing an 11-0-1 season, and an Orange Bowl victory in Florida from Nebraska, a signal of the Cornhuskers' depth. Fans clapped for each tackle, their voices echoing over Nebraska's fields, a springtime vow in Lincoln's chilly air, where every stop felt like a stride toward immortality, uniting the faithful in anticipation of a historic campaign. Lincoln buzzed with modest tailgates, families huddled in lots from Stadium Drive to downtown, sharing tales of 1960s near misses under Devaney's early years, their red scarves bright against Nebraska's gray clouds. Local radio carried Tagg's throws to farms and towns beyond Nebraska, with Lincoln's newspapers heralding the team's rise, no national television needed for the Cornhuskers devoted. The dry 50-degree weather fueled optimism, fans lingering in Lincoln's stands to debate Orduna's grit, their chatter of fire spreading through Nebraska's small towns, from Hastings to North Platte, eager for a season to redefine Husker football. The game lacked modern spectacle, no screens or apps, but its raw intensity charmed Lincoln's crowd, with the band's halftime march stirring pride in Nebraska's traditions, a nod to the state's football roots. Linebacker Jerry Murtaugh's punishing hits signaled blackshirt ferocity, drawing cheers from Lincoln's faithful, a glimpse of the defensive wall to anchor Nebraska's title run. Players, Devaney said, sensed greatness in Lincoln's air, setting a tone for clashes against Colorado or Kansas State. For Nebraska staff, the game showcased balance, with depth players like Johnny Rodgers adding bursts, hinting at a roster poised for history. For Nebraska's notes, though early drives stalled briefly. For a state craving respect, this was a springtime awakening. Lincoln alive with possibility as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 25, 1970, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood united, the championship spark a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a moment when 20,000 voices ignited a dream of Husker greatness. Number 3. 1990 Red-White Spring Game, Red 44, White 34, Osborne's option surge. On April 21, 1990, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 40,000 fans packed Memorial Stadium under a clear spring sky for the Red-White Spring Game, a high-octane clash celebrating 40 years of Husker tradition and Tom Osborne's prime as Nebraska's coach. Red outlasted White 44-34, a thrilling shootout that electrified Lincoln's red-clad faithful, showcasing the Cornhuskers' Big 8 dominance after a 10-2 season. Their cheers a testament to a program ready to challenge Oklahoma or Colorado for supremacy. The game's frenetic pace pulsed with Nebraska's ambition, uniting the faithful in dreams of a national title under Lincoln's radiant sun. Running back Leo Disflowers powered through for 100 yards, his explosive bursts thrilling Lincoln's crowd, while Nebraska's option attack churned with relentless precision, piling up big plays across the field in Lincoln's spring breeze. Red amassed 400 total yards to White's 360, the 10-point margin fueling roars from Nebraska's faithful, who packed Memorial Stadium with anticipation of a 9-3 season from Nebraska. Fans cheered each pitch, their voices echoing over Nebraska's fields, a springtime anthem where every touchdown sparked hope for battles against Texas or Kansas State, uniting Lincoln's stands in shared pride. Lincoln woke to sprawling tailgates, banners waving across Nebraska's heartland from Haymarket to Antelope Park, as families and students poured in, sharing tales of 1980s near misses under Osborne's steady hand, their red hats bright against the azure sky. Nebraska's Lincoln Journal-Star praised the option's fire, its pages read in coffee shops and diners across Lincoln, no national television needed. Nebraska's fame burned on its own merit. The perfect 68-degree weather amplified joy, keeping spirits high for Lincoln's faithful, who filled the stands with scarves and optimism, their chatter lively as they debated the team's path in Nebraska's festive air, eager for a season to rival the glory of 1983 or 1987. A halftime nod to past Husker teams stirred nostalgia in Lincoln stands, tying Osborne's squad to Nebraska's gritty legacy, a moment that sent fans clapping for heroes of decades past, their pride swelling for the future. Early big screens, a novel touch for 1990, flashed replays of Flowers' runs, thrilling Lincoln's crowd with close-ups that heightened the game's pulse. Players, Osborne said, played with fire, setting a fierce tone for fall clashes for Nebraska staff. The game wasn't flawless. Defensive lapses allowed White's rally, but it showed Nebraska's balance, with depth players like Calvin Jones adding bursts, signaling a roster ready for Big 8 wars, for Nebraska's notes. For a state basking in pride, this was a springtime celebration, Lincoln alive with certainty as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 21, 1990, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood vibrant, the option surge a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a moment when 40,000 voices united for the Cornhuskers' ascent. Number 2. 2014 Red-White Spring Game. Red 55, White 46, offensive surge. On April 12, 2014, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 61,772 fans filled Memorial Stadium under a mild spring sky for a Red-White Spring Game. Red outlasting White 55-46 in a dazzling 101-point shootout that thrilled Nebraska's faithful during Bo Pelini's final spring for the Cornhuskers. Quarterback Tommy Armstrong fueled a relentless attack, igniting Lincoln with a display of offensive firepower after a 9-4 season. Their cheers a testament to a program aiming to reclaim Big Ten glory against Wisconsin or Michigan State. The game's frenetic pace pulsed with Nebraska's ambition, uniting fans in dreams of bowl games under Lincoln's radiant sun. Armstrong threw for 200 yards, completing 15 of 22 passes with pinpoint precision, his spirals thrilling a red-clad crowd, while running back Imani Cross powered through for 80 yards, driving Nebraska's ground game with bruising force in Lincoln's spring breeze. Red amassed 420 total yards to White's 380, the 9-point margin belying a frenetic effort foreshadowing another 9-4 season from Nebraska, though Pelini's departure loomed, a bittersweet note for Lincoln's faithful. Fans roared for each touchdown, their voices echoing over Nebraska's fields, a springtime anthem where every score sparked hope for battles against Iowa or Minnesota, uniting the stands in shared pride. Lincoln woke to sprawling tailgates, parking lots alive with kids tossing footballs and families grilling from Haymarket to Stadium Drive, sharing tales of 2009's Big 12 heroics under Pelini, their red banners waving in Nebraska's breeze. The Big Ten Network broadcast Armstrong's throws, with ESPN praising Lincoln's offensive flair to viewers beyond Nebraska, highlighting a crowd rivaling autumn Saturdays. Recruits felt Memorial Stadium's electric pulse, drawn to Nebraska's class, per recruiting reports from Lincoln, their excitement palpable as they envisioned wearing the scarlet and cream. The clear, 70-degree weather-amplified joy, keeping spirits high for Lincoln's faithful, who packed the stands with red caps and optimism, debating the team's path in Nebraska's festive air, eager for a season to challenge Ohio State or Michigan. A fan fest with food trucks sparked laughter in Lincoln's lots, while social media buzzed with Nebraska's scoring praise, though some noted defensive leaks that allowed White's late surge, their chatter lively under the mild sun. Mobile ticketing eased entry for Nebraska's crowds, a modern touch for 2014. Players, Pelini said, fed off Lincoln's roar, with Armstrong's poise a beacon for Nebraska staff. The game showed depth, with backups like Riker Fife tossing passes, signaling Big Ten promise. For a state craving excitement, this was a springtime rally, Lincoln alive with pride as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 12, 2014, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood vibrant, the offensive surge a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a fiery mark for the Cornhuskers' legacy. Number 1. 2008 Red-White Spring Game. Red 24, White 14. Pelini's Revival Spark. On April 19, 2008, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 80,149 fans, one of college football's largest spring crowds, packed Memorial Stadium under a sunny spring sky for the Red-White Spring Game, roaring for Bo Pelini's debut as Nebraska Cornhuskers coach after a 5-7 season. Red defeated White 24-14. A crisp victory, igniting a revival spark in Lincoln stands, thrilling Nebraska's faithful with a glimpse of a program poised to reclaim Big 12 glory against Texas or Oklahoma. The game wasn't a shootout, but its intensity pulsed with purpose, uniting fans and dreams of bowl games under Lincoln's radiant sun. Running back Roy Hella Jr. powered through for 80 yards, his agile runs thrilling a red-clad crowd across Lincoln's bleachers, while quarterback Joe Gans threw for 200 yards and a touchdown, completing 16 of 22 passes with precision in Nebraska's spring breeze. Red amassed 340 total yards to White's 260, the 10-point margin fueling an electric atmosphere for a 9-4 season and Gator Bowl win in Florida from Nebraska. Fans cheered each catch, their voices a springtime anthem over Nebraska's fields, where Lincoln glowed with hope. Every completion a promise of battles against Kansas or Missouri, uniting the faithful in shared pride. Lincoln woke to sprawling tailgates, grills sizzling from Haymarket to Antelope Park, as families and students gathered, sharing tales of Tom Osborne's 1990s titles, their red banners waving under Nebraska's golden sky. ESPN aired Gans's throws, praising Lincoln's crowd to viewers beyond Nebraska, a nod to the Cornhuskers' pull. Recruits felt Memorial Stadium's pulse, joining Nebraska's class, per recruiting reports from Lincoln, their excitement bright as they dreamed of wearing scarlet. The clear, warm 70-degree weather amplified joy, keeping spirits high for Lincoln's faithful, who filled the stands with red caps and optimism, debating Pelini's intensity in Nebraska's festive air, their chatter afire for the fall. A revived tunnel walk sent chills through Lincoln stands, while linebacker Ndamukong Suh's hits foreshadowed All-American greatness, drawing gasps from Nebraska's sea of red, a glimpse of defensive might to come. Mobile ticketing eased entry for Nebraska's crowds, a modern touch for 2008. Pelini's intensity won hearts with players, he said, thriving on Lincoln's roar, per Nebraska's staff. The game showed depth, with backups like Quinton Castile adding bursts, signaling Big 12 promise, per Nebraska's notes, despite early penalties slowing Red. The victory wasn't flawless, but it united Nebraska's faithful, their hearts beating for a program reborn, for a state yearning for pride. This was a springtime awakening, Lincoln alive with certainty as Memorial Stadium glowed under Nebraska's fading light. As dusk settled on April 19, 2008, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Lincoln stood vibrant, Pelini's spark a vivid chapter for Nebraska's faithful, a fiery revival for the Cornhuskers' legacy. The Nebraska Red-White Spring Game, a 75-year beacon of Husker pride, forged a legacy of unforgettable moments, and our top 10 list captures its heart. On April 19, 2008, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 80,149 fans cheered Joe Gans's 200 yards, igniting revival. On April 12, 2014, in Lincoln, Nebraska, 61,772 saw Tommy Armstrong fuel a 101-point surge. On April 21, 1990, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Leo Disflower's 100 yards marked Tom Osborne's prime. On April 25, 1970, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Joe Orduna's 70 yards sparked a title run. Games from April 15, 1995, with Amon Green's dynasty, April 19, 1980, with Jarvis Redwine's ascent, and April 13, 2019, with 85,946 fans for Scott Frost, joined April 28, 1962, April 22, 2023, and April 21, 2001. Weaving Nebraska's story. Each clash, from Eric Crouch's 2001 grit to Willie Ross's 1962 stride, reflects Lincoln's unbreakable spirit, a testament to the Cornhuskers' pull across Nebraska's heartland, where every snap fueled dreams of glory against Iowa or Oklahoma. Since April 15, 1950, The spring game united Lincoln's red-clad faithful in Memorial Stadium. From 15,000 early crowds to near sellouts, a stage for heroes, and a rally binding farmers, families, and students under April skies, from Scottsbluff's fields to Omaha streets. It was Nebraska's heartbeat, where tailgates bloomed and grandstands shook, forging memories shared in barbershops and barns, a tradition that turned strangers into kin clad in red, dreaming of Rose Bowls or Cotton Bowls. On April 27, 2024, in Lincoln, Nebraska, the final red-white game closed, replaced in 2025 by the Husker Games, a shift citing roster risks and injuries, a decision that jarred Nebraska's spirit, leaving fans yearning for the roar of Memorial Stadium's springtime return. This end is a beginning. The April 2024 pause in Lincoln, Nebraska was not essential. Tradition outweighs caution, and fans must demand the red-white game's revival, blending old rituals like the tunnel walk with new innovations after a restart. The new spring tradition is Resolve, a movement born in Lincoln to restore Nebraska's core, fueled by memories of 2019's fervor, 1970's spark, or 2008's roar, a call to rally for the Cornhusker soul, until the Red Sea rises again. The spring game was central to Nebraska, bringing people together, fostering pride, and inspiring hope. It was Lincoln's spring tradition, connecting generations, linking past victories to future goals. Until it resumes, it endures in the runs, passes, and roaring crowds that filled Memorial Stadium, moments rooted in Nebraska's spirit. This top 10 list preserves that spirit, a reminder until the red-white spring game returns.